Basic arithmetic video on significant figures. We're asked to round off 3, 4, 6, 8, 2, 0 to two significant figures. Now, significant figures, we start counting significant figures by moving from the left to right like we read, and when we get to our first non-zero digit, we start counting significant figures. That'll be our first significant figure, our second significant figure, our third, our fourth, our fifth, and our sixth at the moment. Now they're asking us to lead this number to two significant figures, which means we'll have to chop this number off down there to leave us with two significant figures. But rounding off to significant figures is a bit like rounding off to decimal places in the fact that we can't just chop a number and hope for the best. We'll only be right about half the time that way. What we have to do is, if we're chopping a number off, we have to check this critical digit here, and remember 5 or more raise the score. If that digit there is 5 or more, this number here, our last rounded number, goes up 1. Raise the score. I'll try and improve my writing with these pens, but still. Okay, 5 or more raise the score, and you can see it's a 6, so we'll raise this score once. So let me just get back my red pen. Okay, so if we just left that as 3, 5, that 6 rounded the 4 up 1. 35 isn't a very good representation of 346,820. That would be a pretty poor approximation. So we're allowed to put zeros in that we're not counting as significant, but they're just there to hold the place values of the 3 and the 5 so that they were worth as much as they were in the original question. So you're allowed to put a 0, 0, 0, 0 in there. These 4 zeros aren't significant, or we're allowed to say they're not significant in this case, and so that's considered to be a rounded off version to two significant figures. We're counting the 3 and the 5 as significant, and the zeros are there to just hold the place values. That's how we think of that. That's rounding off that original number to two significant figures. Okay, this one is asking us to round this decimal off to 3 significant figures. So let's have a look at how we might do that. Okay, if we're starting to count our significant figures, then we would be starting to count. We move from left to right, and when we get to our first non-zero digit, we'll start counting our significant figures. So that 6 is our first significant figure. The 0, every other digit, once you start counting, every other digit after it is considered to be significant here. So that's our third significant figure, fourth and fifth. These zeros don't count as significant figures because we're not up to our first non-zero yet. But once we hit our first non-zero digit and start counting, any other digits, whether they're zeros or not, can be considered to be significant. Okay, so if we've got 3 significant figures we want to be left with, we will chop this here, and can you see that this 8 being 5 or more will round up that 7 by 1. So we will write as our answer 0.0608. So that's still got 3 significant figures here, those 3 there. These zeros are a bit like those other zeros we had in the previous example. They're just there to hold the place values of the 6 and the 8 in the right sort of spots. So that's our final rounding to 3 significant figures there. So a few tricky rules with significant figures. There's more to it than you imagine. And I think we might be done. Nice short video, this one. PeterBlakeMaths.com. See you next time.